Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. You guys, I am so excited to be talking about Ladies of London Season 2. It's the season finale. Man, I love this show so much. I'm really having a blast covering it. I'm going to keep going right into Season 3, and let's keep talking about these ladies. Let's get into this episode. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So the episode starts off, and it always cracks me up, the music on this show, because right out of the gate, it's "You got a lot of nerve." That's my British accent, by the way. But very loud singing, and it really makes me laugh. So we see that we're at Caroline Fleming's house in Chelsea. And it's weird because Caroline Fleming is barely in this episode. She's in this scene, she's in the very last scene, but she's barely in it. Which kind of sucks because I like watching her. But so it's her house in Chelsea. Annabelle arrives. They talk about Denmark. And Annabelle is saying how amazing it was, how much she loved it. She's then talking about Jules and how their friendship is fractured and how she wasn't there as a good friend. Right at that moment, the doorbell rings. It's Juliet and Jules. Man, these names, they have to be the exact same, don't they? All right. So Julie is saying with Annabelle, there's tension. It's unresolved. Julie is telling Caroline Fleming that she absolutely loved Denmark. Caroline says, well, I have to be honest with you. I was told you called up a friend and asked why I'm joining this cast, joining the friendships. Because, and then she claims to say that Julie said she was a terrible person. Julie's like, what? What are you talking about? Who did I say that to? So it turns out she said it to Caroline Stanbury. The terrible person thing, it's in question. They never could prove that. But she admits that she did say, who is this person joining our group? To which I say, that's normal. That's natural. You know, if you have a group that's been on TV and somebody new is joining, you would say that to your friend. I don't think that's the worst thing in the whole world. I think Fleming was just looking for some drama there. Julie explains, I apologize. It was months ago. It's before I knew you. And Juliet makes an interesting comment saying, I knew it wasn't all love and light with Caroline Fleming. Okay, so then Annabelle tells Caroline Fleming, I get why you're upset. It's not fun to have people talking about you behind your back. And Julie's like, I feel like this is directed at me. Because remember, Julie and Annabelle are having this unresolved tension, and Annabelle's using this excuse to bring it up. Annabelle says Jules wasn't around. She didn't care that it hurt my feelings. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So they go back and forth, right? Here's the thing. Jules and Annabelle each bug me for their own specific reasons, but I gotta say, this is just TV, but Julie seems to have been there for Annabelle, especially when she went through her breaking her back riding the horse thing. Remember, she was really there in every scene with Annabelle, taking care of her, driving her places, literally holding her hand, as a friend would. So, of course, we don't see everything, but it just seems a little shocking that she's accusing her of this. Julie breaks down, is like, Annabelle, you have pushed all of us away. I have 4 children. I'm working 12 to 14 hours a day. My husband is away. So all I'm able to do is send text messages, but my text messages were genuine. They're like letters. Well, Annabelle doesn't seem to understand this. She keeps saying, I don't care about the text messages. Meanwhile, Fleming keeps cutting off Jules, and Jules finally says, will you let me talk, Caroline? So that shuts Caroline up for a second. She's crying, saying she's been frantically busy, and Juliet says, Juliet stands up for Jules and says, I felt you there for me. It's nice to have a good friend, but, you're spread thin, and so I'll take what I can get. And I think I side with Juliet there. Jules has 4 kids. She's trying to do the best she can. I'm sure she screwed up. She probably should have been a little bit more Team Annabelle, but to her point, Annabelle was kind of sulky in Denmark and being kind of a bitch at the dinner and kind of bringing everybody down. So I can't say I'm on Annabelle's side through this one. I really can't. So we go over to Caroline Stanbury's house. So we find out that the gift library is gone now. She says, she can see where people would say, oh, it'll be okay, you have a nice house, a husband, a family. She sees that, but she says it doesn't make her easier. And I actually did feel for Stanbury in this one, because she said going to the office every day, she's loved, and she's really going to miss that, and she kind of feels like she doesn't know what to do next. She says in England, you're brought up to marry, to have children, to basically wait on your husband to come home. And she said that's just not the life for her. That's not what she wants. She said she has 3 children. It's not easy. I defy you to spend 2 or 3 days with your own 3 kids. And I kind of laugh like, well, hello, that's what we're all doing right now. Okay, so this is a job you never get to go home from. I'm here. I'm going to make the best of it. Okay. So Marissa ends up meeting with Julie, and Jules feels like, if she goes to Marissa, she can talk to her because Marissa and Annabelle are very close. So immediately after this lunch, they end up meeting for dinner, and Jules is kind of frazzled. Marissa says that she can see it. She's saying that something's up with Jules. So okay. Jules is saying, what's wrong with the text message? It's like a letter. I've been there for Annabelle. Marissa says, I adore Annabelle, but she doesn't have a husband or 4 kids, so she doesn't understand all the demands. Marissa says, I wonder if she feels like she's losing you, talking about Annabelle to Julie. And Julie tells Marissa about the Caroline Stanbury, telling Caroline Fleming what she said months ago. Again, this is drama that really didn't go anywhere. Stanbury calls Jules loose lips, but yet she's the one telling people what Jules had said. Okay, so it's the next day, and Marissa is meeting with the manager of Bumpkin. Annabelle's going to be doing a book reading. Remember, she's releasing the Me, Me, Me's, and the first of the series is going to be The Angry Me. She wants to do it at Bumpkin. Her place fell through. It's kind of last minute. Marissa's like, it's cool. I got you. Don't worry about it. And also, she's explained how she and Annabelle have become much closer. She says it's an honor for her to put her faith in me to work on this event. Marissa brings up the whole Jules thing and asks how everything is. Annabelle says it's about what went on in Denmark, and I was withdrawn, and I expected that she would be there for me. Marissa says she understands both Annabelle and Jules' side, and she wants to... So basically, Annabelle wants Jules' support, but Jules is like spreading her wings and, can't always be there for Annabelle. She said she hates seeing 2 friends fight because that's what she went through with Juliet, and she really hopes that they make up. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit mean here for a second. Juliet. Yes, she has been pretty low-key this season and kind of stayed out of the fray. So she's meeting up with this model / actress to dress her. And the reason I'm sighing like that and saying I'm going to be a little bit mean here is because out of all of them, I think I hate Juliet's style the worst. Jules is a pretty close second, but Juliet's style is awful. Even here when she's dressing the lady, I don't love it. I don't love what she's dressing this girl in. This is obviously a beautiful girl. She'd look good in anything, but I don't love this outfit. I don't even love the outfit Juliet's wearing. You guys have all said the same thing. Pretty much that you don't like Juliet's style either. So I find it funny that she brags about being a fashion fairy godmother, and she's been in the business for over 10 years. And anyway, so Marissa told her when she's successful, she's much nicer, much more fun to be around, and she feels happier. So that's good that she's happier, but I hate her fashion. Okay, so Caroline Stanbury and Annabelle go meet up. So remember, they were having friction. They've had a bunch of friction lately, but in Denmark, you really saw it at dinner when they were kind of going back and forth. Stanbury says the trip to Denmark was a roller coaster, and the only one who ruined it was Annabelle. So she feels like all the girls have come to her complaining about the Annabelle situation, and that she was sent in to deal with it. So she's there to deal with it. Stanbury tells her, I invited you here tonight to see how you're doing and check in with you about how it's going with all the girls. Annabelle says, I got them upset, but we're British, so we just move on. And Stanbury brings up when Annabelle got really weird at the dinner. Remember, she was quiet and sulky. So let's talk about this. We understand why she's quiet and sulky. I believe it was the anniversary of Alexander's passing. Obviously, he was near and dear to her, and that would rock anybody. But their whole point is, like, you know, we're trying to be there for you, and you were not nice to us. She was being sulky. So Stanbury is just trying to say, listen, think about how you come across. You act like you don't like us. And he says, have you said to yourself, well, shit, these aren't my kind of people? That's exactly what Stanbury says, by the way. And Annabelle's like, no, of course not. Stanbury says, they aren't trying to push her out. We want you to stay, but we want you to have a better attitude. Think really hard right now. It's time to poop or get off the pot. So Stanbury says to camera, sometimes when you're faced with losing something, you realize what it means to you. Annabelle seems to have taken this stance as well. She says she can be quite vulnerable, but people don't realize it. She's definitely not. That's not her intention to push the girls away. She doesn't want to lose them. She actually tells Caroline Stanbury thank you, and seems like she appreciates Stanbury talking to her about it. Stanbury says that they've all been through a lot, and she just wants them all to blow off steam, and she's going to have a pool party at her house. Just, you know, to get over the rifts, to get over losing gift library, all this stuff. She just wants to have this pool party at her house and just make everybody relax. So from here, we go over to Caroline's house, and she's planning the pool party. I just love when they shoot scenes in her house. I find it fascinating. I found her house completely gorgeous and organized, and I'm so jealous of how clean it is all the time. I know she has an army of helpers, but still, I'm completely jealous. She says she realizes that this might look like a flippant way to end things, but that's not what it is. It's just a way for them all to blow off steam and to get over the rifts. Luke and the assistant, they're working on party planning. They decide they're going to hire a bunch of hot guys to work the party. She says, prepare the boys to be eaten alive by all the ladies. So we see Annabelle arrive at Bumpkin. It's time for her event. Everything has been transformed into the Angry Me's world, and she just couldn't be happier. She says Marissa's such a good friend to help her pull it off. And we see everybody start to arrive and bringing their children. Julia arrives and brings her son Will. She's saying that there's still stuff between her and Annabelle that they'll need to discuss. Now's not the time. So we see Annabelle reading to the children and explains that basically as a kid she was dyslexic, and it led to her having a lot of anger issues, and this is her way of getting it out on paper and helping other people with it. They say it's endearing to see this other side of Annabelle, and Annabelle says she's really proud that this was a dream that she was able to make come true, and she's really proud of herself. It's really sweet. She thanks her grandmother who was there and seems to always support her. She thanks her sister who helped her through all this, and she actually goes through and thanks a lot of the women. She acknowledges that she puts barriers up, and she's trying to open herself up to be more part of the group. Okay, so from here we go over to Caroline's house, who's getting the party all set up. And the ladies we see are getting ready. Marissa ends up picking up Jules for the party, and they're going to ride over together. Marissa asks Jules if she's talked to Annabelle yet, and she says no. She wants to do that tonight at Caroline Stanbury's house. We also see Juliet picking up Annabelle, who's wearing a bathing suit, and she's wearing a suit coat over it. She looks fantastic, Annabelle does, but her cheeks are out, and they talk about how freezing cold it is, so no thank you on that. We see the hot guys at Caroline's. They are there to greet the ladies as they come in, to help them in the house, and we see everybody arriving. So when everybody's there, they encourage Jules to go and talk to Annabelle. Long overdue, time to talk. So they go in the kitchen to have their talk. Annabelle says Jules and me can move on either as lesser friends or not friends at all. To Jules, she says, I don't want anything to change you. I felt like you weren't there for me in Denmark, and that's when I saw changes in you, and that's when I retreated. She says, when you needed me, I was there for you, but when I needed you, you weren't there for me. And I want to know what she's talking about. When did Jules need her, and when was she there? I know they're good friends. I'm just curious if there's something specific she's referring to, if it's the jump ball stuff she's referring to. I'm just curious. I'd like to know more about that. So Jules says, listen, I said to you I was being selfish. I should have been there for you. I apologize. Sounds like she keeps apologizing. Annabelle says, I just want to make sure that you're making the right choice. And to camera, Jules says, I don't want our friendship to ever end. So they make up, and it's sweet, and they hug, and I'm glad to see that. So Stanbury tells everybody it's a new chapter with her closing the gift library, and says she just really wants to start a new chapter with each of the ladies. I love each and every one of you for very different reasons, and I think we're going to have the best time together, and for who knows how many years. So then we find out about each of the ladies. Jules says she's working on saving Mapperton and trying to be the best version of herself she can be. Marissa says she's been growing their family and their business, and she wants it all, and she's going to get it. Fleming says she's at peace and feels healed and hopes it can really help others. Juliette says her blog is giving her a voice and a sense of passion for fashion and is keeping her out of trouble. Annabelle signed a deal to publish all of her books. The first in the series is Angry Me, and it's going to be a series of me's. Stanbury says, what's next for this group, God only knows, but me, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. So that's how the episode ends. This has been so much fun to watch and to cover and to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the next season. There were 3 seasons total of the show. I wish there were more. And I'm ready to keep going and jump right in. And I'm just really enjoying talking about it. I hope you guys are too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. And I will talk to you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.